Yo, what is good, you guys? Welcome to the video. Today's video is gonna be mostly focused on teaching you guys like high level corruptions. Um, Soloing corruptions at 200 plus, 250 plus is much more difficult than doing them in a party. Okay, now if you're farming in a party, you can do corruption pretty easy. However, if you're farming solo, um, then there's a lot more pressure on you playing your character correctly. So this guide for those that want to play solo or that really want to push the peak of their character so that they're more useful to their group, right? So TLDR, there are certain gear pieces that are extremely unlikely to appear in the loot table until you get to a certain threshold in corruption. So the end game is empowered monoliths. However, like people that want to push past end game and like go beyond, you go into corrupted. And the people that push into the high level corruption will get better drops. Now, let me just show you guys really quickly before I show you like the gear for corruptions. I'm in Circle of Fortune, meaning I'm farming prophecies. Now, if you buy your gear, I have some friends that are buying the gear, and you can get a lot of these items faster. However, if you farm your gear, a lot of these good, like the better items, don't drop until like 150, 200 plus echoes. Like it honestly took me about 550 Reign of Dragons before I ever saw an Eye of Reen with 1 LP. Currently, I have two of these with 1 LP. I would prefer one with 2 or 3 LP. However, I never saw one of these drop with LP until about 500 plus runs, 250 plus corruption. So I'm sure that the drop rate is going to increase the higher echo, higher corruption you go. These are the type of drops I'm telling you. I did get this Jade Amulet in pretty high corruption too, with critical strike multiplier and some really good stats. I was able to get like perfect roll crystal storage from doing prophecies and high level tier, but mostly it's the uniques with legendary potential. I started seeing Siphon of Anguish with 2 legendary potential around 200 plus as well. I'm hoping to farm an Omnis at 200 plus, in which I will include that version of the build in the description as well. Because yeah, like a lot of these items just aren't available until 200 plus. Even my transient rest with LP, I didn't get until 200 plus. But yeah, most importantly, though, is the Eye of Reen, you guys. I don't want to skip over this because when I looked at this for an Ice Shatter build, I was like, dude, this is going to be bad because it gives melee fire damage and then it gives chance to ignite, right? You would think that that would be really bad. However, when you look at each stack of Reen's Ire, it grants 5% melee critical strike multiplier, and that melee critical strike multiplier is going to cause like your damage over time to scale exponentially because you're critting for a much higher rate. And we already have insane crit rate due to our Peak of the Mountain. So paired with Peak of the Mountain and Eye of Reen, where everything's a crit, we are getting insane crit multiplier. Also, it's in the implicit on katana. So this is how you would play essentially at the highest corruption level. I'll do another guide, another update on what gear you should probably have, like around 500 plus corruption. But yeah. Also, the ring, I would prefer an opal ring with these stats: intelligence, dex, endurance, physical. Another stat that you guys that are pushing into higher tier corruptions are gonna need is you're gonna need reduced bonus damage taken from critical strikes. You would want one T6 and one T7. That way you can get 100% from 2 rolls of this reduced bonus damage from critical strikes. Bonus damage from critical strikes, endurance, having a higher endurance threshold, getting higher health. Of course, you gotta have maxed out cooldown. Maxed out critical strike avoidance. But those stats are what's gonna help you be able to survive in those high tier corrupted, you guys. All right, so that's enough about build and gear. So how do you actually do the corruptions? 258 in this one, 500 completed. But I'm gonna go. Alright, so I want to show you guys how you would boss in high level corruption, 220 plus. Like pretty much it's learning that you can't tank a lot of mechanics now. So essentially you have to play pretty much perfectly at high level corruption. So the more you learn a boss, the more you learn mechanics, uh, the more DPS you do, the more survivability you'll have, the faster you'll be able to climb, high corruption, so on and so forth. I can tank these balls with my flame shield and keep higher DPS. But the problem is when you tank mechanics, you get hit with parry, which parry is going to lower your DPS. So it's finding that fine line between tanking and getting rid of mechanics. This is a mechanic I want to get rid of and tank because when he does the next phase and he has the lightning, I don't want to be running in the yeah, when he has these 3 lines, I don't want to be running into lightning balls or I'd get staggered, right? So knowing what phases are coming, what skills to tank is really important for melee. Really important for everyone, but it's more important for melee, I should say. You can iframe a lot of the mechanics with Surge. That's another like high level form of gameplay. Alright. I wanted to get rid of all the extra little minions before this phase. I missed one, and that one could have gotten me killed. Because if you're too slow walking around and a laser catches up to you, it's really bad. Okay, I'll just that. Okay, we're gonna tank some of these. Oh my god, you see, we didn't have Flame Ward. We almost died. We're gonna get rid of some of these. I think he's supposed to be in a phase and he skipped one. I don't know if I froze him out of it, but he was supposed to go in laser phase. I might be able to burst him here. Yeah. I caused him to skip a phase due to DPS, GG. Nice, dude. So that is how you would boss on like 250 corruption, man. It's really just about truly just no mechanics. And learning when to face tank and when to iframe with Surge, man. I don't even feel like I've really like broken the skill cap of Surge. Like Surge is such a high skill cap skill, dude, because it's an iframe that can be slowed to give you a longer window of an iframe. That's another thing I'm going to show you guys. I do have a couple build changes. I'm going for more critical damage and speed on Surge, just for faster clear and the higher corruption. It's not the safer route. The safer route is to have a longer iframe, but it is yeah, it's something I'm trying. Yeah, that's majority of the change. I did take away 1 point from Icy Flow and put it in the Ice Blink. There's some small changes to the build, but don't worry guys, it'll be in the description. Alright, so now that I've shown you guys some like high tier bossing, I'm gonna go ahead and run an Echo 250 plus solo, and then I'm gonna also run a boss, and then I'm gonna show you guys how you complete those solo on Spellblade. Alright, so for arenas, the strategy for Spellblade is to LOS. LOS means line of sight. So if I stand near something where range mobs can't hit me, they are forced to aggro and like walk over to me. So that is why I will stand in corners in arena, because it forces range mobs to come to me, and the only time I really ever die in this build is getting hit by something from far away. Like every now and then I'll die to a dog, but mostly it's an archer or like someone throwing a javelin. Because that hits you from far away, then you get you parry. And when you parry and you're close, you can hit something. But if you're parrying and you're far away, I can't hit anything, then I'm just standing there kind of looking stupid, getting hit from afar. It's really bad. The parry feature is mainly what gets you killed. So honestly, the ideal form of gameplay on Spellblade is to avoid getting parried. In order to do that, you keep shit CC'd and you engage very quickly. And you always keep a ward up for the simple fact that you will parry it sometimes. So you just gotta have high enough ward to survive getting hit. Alright. That was a survival echo. Not too bad, as you see. Like, you literally just LOS. It becomes really easy. You LOS and utilize your surge. Alright, so now we are going to do... we could do another boss, but you guys have seen one boss already, so let's go ahead and do the echo. Alright, so we are going to run the corruption boss here for the echo. I'm going to show you guys how you complete these. These bosses are a little bit more particular than the like actual powered monolith boss. These ones have a lot more one-shots. Like what you just saw was a one-shot if I get hit by that. This, if I get hit by this and ward and no parry, it's a one-shot. So it has two different one-shot mechanics, and then these flames along with these red aura balls, they can also one-shot. So I think 3 one-shots and a lot of high damage skills. You got to be really careful in these high corruption bosses, guys. Know your DPS window. Hold your surge until you need to use it, like that. When you're dodging one-shots, he's going to hop here to me. I cast Flame Ward, going to DPS. I'm waiting for the fireball. Red orb balls are going to be casting them on the right side of the map, thank God. Alright. Thank God I parried that. Alright, get out of there. Almost died because I didn't have mana. Alright, we need to burst this guy now. So we're going to tank mechanics with Flame Ward. At the end, when we know we can burst, we needed to dodge that flame wall though. But yeah, that's how you would complete an echo boss. And then like I was showing you guys, these siphons of anguish start to drop a lot on these corruption bosses at 200 plus. I've seen so many siphon of anguish from these corruption bosses. That's how I got my siphon of anguish with Dex health. I would prefer Dex int, but Dex health isn't bad. But yeah, you guys, I've showed you corruption bosses. I've showed you the empowered echo boss. Alright, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how you do the Met 260 corruption. I'm gonna do the empowered echo boss of Reign of Dragons. Like, I already showed you one like echo boss that was empowered. It's really important to learn the mechanics of these as early as you can in corruption, because later in corruption, you'll die to the same mechanics that you were face tanking. Like this necrotic damage, with no corruption, I could literally just stand inside of it with ward. I would live. But in this one, like, I would die in like 0.5 seconds if I stand there for too long. So I want to surge through. The surge is an iframe. And then also keep up 75% ward if I can. If I drop below, I can pop a flame ward, take reduced damage. When he turns to me, I absolutely have to get to his backside regardless of the necrotic damage. So I have to surge. Surge is an iframe, so wherever I end up, I'm usually safe. Alright. When you're low on mana, you just attack move with Mana Strike. When he turns to you, you have to surge. You surge into too much necrotic, just preemptively pop Flame Ward. Flame Ward has DR on it. I'm gonna go to the north here, just so I can get a better view on this necrotic damage that's sitting on the freaking floor. Yeah, he's not leaving me much room to DPS. I can literally only get to this spot because of Surge. I tried to make him look to the back. That way, if he did his breath, I could move to the front and DPS. Because if he does the breath while I'm in the back, I wouldn't have any room. But yeah, that is how you do another empowered Echo boss. I usually like to keep resistances here. 20% is max, I believe. But yeah, you guys, that is how you use solo content on 250 plus for Spellblade. You know, you're gonna die. You're not gonna be perfect, but the more mechanics you know, the better you'll be. Hopefully, this is helpful for you guys that are struggling. I know I've had a couple people in my comments saying they're struggling doing corruption on Spellblade, but yeah, it's all about knowing your gear spikes, knowing mechanics, knowing what to tank, knowing how to recover from parrying and getting hit. Yeah. Hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, peace and love, you guys.